at this point, I think there is active suppression of this science. And this has been going on since the 60s. One of the things that I found in my research, the biggest ever test of Ansel Keys' hypothesis was something called the Minnesota Coronary Survey. It was on more than 9,000 men and women in 5 Minnesota mental hospitals, which was a really well-controlled study because somebody in a hospital, you can control everything they're eating. They gave half the people what was considered the normal amount of saturated fat, regular milk, regular meat, cheese, butter, etc. The other half, they gave 9% saturated fat, so soy-filled milk, soy-filled cheese, soy-filled burgers. They found that the people on the vegetable oil, soy-filled diets, there was no effect on cardiovascular mortality or total mortality. That study was not published for 16 years. One of the principal investigators, Ivan France, was asked by a journalist, why did you not publish the study? He said, well, there was really nothing wrong with it. We were just so disappointed in the way it came out. Well, that's that's basically scientific fraud, not publishing your results.
I've started to ask the question, what got in the way? What's withholding the message? Well, there is a pharmaceutical and medical device industry that makes billions selling their products to doctors who have no interest in diet therapy. There is a sugar industry that adds sugar to all of our processed foods that has no interest in promoting a sugar-free diet. There is a cardiology community led by the American Heart Association that has been spreading misinformation about a high-fat diet based on flawed science for over 70 years.
Those diets have been used in children for many years who have epilepsy, and those children show definite cognitive dysfunction. Also, those diets contain
Which means they don't think as clearly.
That's right.
Those children are also children who have as many, they're intransigent childhood epilepsy. They have as many as 400 seizures a month. They're untreatable by drugs. They go on the diets, and the diets, I think it cures 33% of them, cures them.
These are epilepsy, and then they aren't able to think.
Today, Charlie is a elementary school teacher at a certificate in early childhood education. He boxes, he plays piano, and we are beyond grateful every day for his outcome.
I'm not sure what would have become of me if my family hadn't found the ketogenic diet, but I doubt that today I would be an A student in high school with lots of friends. I doubt I would have been playing piano for the last 8 years, and I doubt I could hit an 8-iron 160 yards.
They just couldn't accept that they were dealing with these intractable conditions. And not just pediatric epilepsy, but obesity is an intractable condition. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes is an intractable condition. Type 1 is, and here you have this diet that appears to put these conditions into remission. The establishment here, represented by our friends, is a little too dogmatic and that we may never know the truth unless we acknowledge that there is a counter theory that has never been tested, and that theory, more and more people are beginning to accept parts of the theory as being legitimate, and that it could answer a lot of problems, and it could even make it easier for Americans to lose weight.
People are able to reverse diabetes. People are able to lose weight sustainably. Most, if not all, cardiovascular risk factors are improved along the way on a lower carbohydrate diet. That diet ought to be at least considered.
If it turns out to be true, I'll be the first to change my mind, but show me the data.
Well, here's just one study that says that long-term ketosis reduces body weight, triglycerides, LDL, and blood glucose, and shows that it's safe to use a long-term ketogenic diet.
You can lose weight on a plant-based diet, you can lose weight on a ketogenic diet. But are you mortgaging your health when you do that? And the answer is yes. The ketogenic diet, when you look at the arteries of people or animals that go on a ketogenic diet, they tend to be more clogged, even though they may be losing.
Imagine someone who spent his whole career getting the wrong answer. Not only getting the wrong answer that's dangerous, that actually may have killed tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people prematurely. There's no way to tell. And these outsiders come along and say, you're wrong. Not only are you wrong, you're completely wrong, or not even wrong. It's so senseless what you've been doing, and you're killing people, and you have to switch. I don't think any human being, we're just not wired to be able to say, oh yeah, that's a good point. I get it. I see what you're saying, and I'm sorry. And if you're an institution like the American Heart Association, I mean, imagine the press release you would have to write. Dear American public, we're sorry if we killed prematurely your loved ones and your parents, and maybe we're killing you, but in retrospect, we shouldn't have given the advice we did.